We obviously didn't see Gino out there today. He's trending toward Kenny playing on Sunday.
Yeah, Kenny's going to play. Gino won't make it back. Tried, couldn't get it done in this amount of time, but have a really good chance to be back next week. So Kenny's going to take the lead.
What have you seen out of Kenny that gives you confidence in him moving the offense?
Well, like the expectations that I've held for the backup quarterbacks in the past, that they've got to be on every day, they've got to work every day, their mind has to stay on play to play, because they need the mentality that the very next play they may be in there. Kenny's done that well. We talked about it way back when, and he's done everything we could ask of him, and he had an excellent week. He's in command of what we're doing. Communications are good and all that. Got a little East Coast in him, so that won't hurt, and so we'll support him in every way that we can to have a good game.
You talked about leadership being more than reps on the field. How have you seen Kenny kind of earn trust this week? How has he been in the huddle and finding his confidence?
That didn't just start this week. He's been actively taking charge when he gets the opportunities in practice, and we put him in a lot of competitive situations to try to force him to the front. Worked against the defense a lot so that he get good full speed rhythm and tempo throughout the process getting to here. So he's as ready as a guy can be that hasn't done much playing. And fortunately, he had a nice outing the other night, and came through and made some nice plays and did the things that we like to see from him. So that helps his confidence, I'm sure.
Even though Gino didn't get to the point where he would be available for Sunday, how did kind of like his body respond to, the rehab? You think he's made progress in that regards?
Yeah, it seems like it's on track. This trip happens to be 10 hours almost on a plane, and the weather and all that. He's got it's a lower back issue that he's concerned about, and it just doesn't seem like it would behoove him moving forward. So we're going to take care of him and not put him through that.
And you mentioned that, how's the shoulder?
That's manageable. It's manageable. He hasn't thrown this week very much, but it's manageable.
Will he stay here?
I'll let you know that later.
Do you expect to? I just want.
Well, it's not for you or him. It's just, why would we tell people that?
Do you expect to elevate Cam to potentially be the third quarterback?
We have to wait and see.
In a season that hasn't gone the way you hoped, how do you keep the culture in this locker room, and how do you hope they build off of that?
Every day is staying with it, working to be uncommonly consistent with our expectations and the standards that we prepare and practice and meet by. The walkthroughs and all of it. It's just like we draw them in every day, so they have to be here and have to be with us, or they're an outsider in it. And our guys they've been willing, and I think with the disappointments of the season, certainly has impact and has an effect. And I'm unfamiliar with being in this situation and what it takes to keep guys going, but we've stayed with the approach and the mentality and the demanding consistency of competing every day, and our guys have stayed with it. So we have a chance to win this football game because of the way they've approached it.
Obviously, you're coaching a football team in the desert. When you're going into Philly with the weather conditions, is there anything you can do to get ready for that throughout the week, or you just deal with it when you get there?
It's kind of cold at night here. We had some cold nights lately. We'll take care of it.
Does the game plan change at all, having Kenny versus Gino?
Well, we always were trying to match with the guys that we got. There's, there'll be some things. They've been working at the same stuff all along, so we're not going to change drastically. But we'll expect Kenny to be able to carry out all of the, the elements of it.
You expect Michael Mayer and Dante Thornton back out there?
They both, Mike had a really good week. Dante got out late, but he did well. Both those guys have a chance.
This game might mean a little bit more for Kenny. Obviously, his former team, his childhood team, he just won a Super Bowl with him 10 months ago. What conversations maybe have you had with Kenny about the meaning of this game for him, if any?
We haven't done a lot yet, specifically about that, because we have a mentality that should, encompass whomever we're playing. And but he does have some insights. He does, and he's helped us with game planning and what to expect and things like that. So he has helped us quite a bit, but not specifically about, other than the fact that he's played in the cold and he's played in the weather and all that kind of stuff throughout his life. So that should help him.
Can you talk about Gino Smith and how he might have helped Kenny Pickett throughout this process this week?
They've been very well connected throughout. They've been, shoulder to shoulder with everything that we've done. So it wasn't anything special for them to focus in on the plan. Gino's had to be away. He's had some tests that he had to do and things like that. So he's been in and out of the facility a little bit. But all in all, they're connected and get along great and help each other immensely.
Outrighting might Colton Miller be to get back and
He's taken snaps, so this is the first week that he's got a chance to get back on the field. We're trying to just find his balance and his confidence in returning. So next week will be really important.
I know you're trying to treat every game the same, but in your experience coaching, does your team get up a little bit more for a Super Bowl champion, especially going into their house?
I hope not. I really don't. That's we're trying to take every game like it's playing the Super Bowl champions, and that calls that there's a reason for doing that. That's not because we're ignoring the fact that of all of their accomplishments. It's to try to keep us consistent in our preparation and the expectations of what it takes to get to your very best week after week after week. I firmly believe that if you respond to the rivalries and the history and the background like we did at Notre Dame a million years ago, we learn the lessons. It doesn't matter who you're playing; you got to get right every single week, and so we try to own that and capture that in the prep. And so, but everybody knows this team. We know them really well, and it didn't take a long time to introduce the team to the locker room. The people, the ways that they play, the style, the background, the history, all the stories and all that. That was very familiar. So there is a deep understanding of these guys because they've been so much, in the spotlight and so much on top.
Any of those Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement to play for the Colts?
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I heard he got a chance to play.
Yeah, he's maybe starting.
Is that right? Well, why not?
That's good. Thanks, Coach. Hey, Coach.